You went away. That's the only way I can describe it. You went away, but you're still there. And it's really strange because you just went away. Person I knew, the person I've lived with, just went away. But you're still there. And I mean, not that I want this to happen, but if you ever just left, I mean, if we divorced, or, and I'm not saying over this, but I mean, at least there's a separation. There's something you can deal with. This is, it's like the other person just said, whatever I was inside is going to be gone, but physically I'm going to be here. I mean, I just don't know what the hell to do with that.
It's been very rough for both of you.
The question I'd ask you, does this mean the children are going to is this going to happen to Jamie and Elizabeth?
And I think that's an important question, and one that I think we can answer to some extent over time. Not yes or no, but what we know about children growing up in these situations, and above all, what kinds of things can be done that can help them in various ways. I noticed that we're coming towards the end of the time for this session, and I wanted to sort of both summarize a few things and ask you a couple of questions. And if you were to choose to work with me, I think what I would want to do is meet with you again at least once and maybe more, and try to hear more of both what, Marlene, your experience has been, and also what you each think the children's experience has been, and to try to see what sense together the three of us can make of it. I want to be clear, just like I talked a little bit before about feeling that life isn't worth living. I think many couples do think about what it would be like not to be with each other and think about divorce. I think if you're thinking very seriously about that, I'd like to know that. And try
No, I'm not. I just use it as an example of a physical removal as opposed to... No, no,
but I think, you know, if that were the issue, I think we would want to take that up now and very directly, because I think there's...
No,
you know,
no.
And I think the third question is that you all sound as if you've been living with lots of questions and a lot of uncertainty. And my sense is that the children probably have been living with that, a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainties too. That's what you were saying, and I think you implied. And I think one of our pieces of work together would be to see whether there was some of this that you've been through together that you could make sense of for them and with them. So that if we were to work together, I would want to spend time with you and then see them and then meet with you again to plan, if it seemed to make sense to you, a family meeting. Can you tell me any more what the days have been like for you? Have you been crying a lot? Have you been feeling on edge, or like you have a short fuse? Have you just been...
It's just very tired. Just everything is so difficult to do. It's especially difficult in the morning. It just seems like a monumental effort to, literally get up in the morning to, literally just sit up in bed and get up.
Do you find that you feel like crying a lot, or that you feel very sad?
But sometimes it's not crying, but it's just a terrible feeling of this just feeling sad, but not sad like when you, like I mean, I can't remember, but I know that I was sad before, but you'd be sad and then it's for something specific that happens and then it goes away. This is like it's all around you sad, and it doesn't ever go away. It doesn't ever, I mean, and if it does, it's like a blink. You know, like I can look at Bob's face, and for that moment, it's like, I guess it's like good for that second, and then it closes up again.
Yeah. And did this come to you out of the blue, or were there things that happened with the family or whatever when it was about 1.5 years ago that it
Well, I've talked about this, so
Right.
I'm not sure. It wasn't as if like actually it turned out, thank God that it was all right. I see, we really don't see my father very. You asked before if the children have seen him drunk, and they have not. And frankly, it's not that I saw him often drunk, it's just he would leave. But he got sick, and I made a decision to visit him in the hospital and help care for him. And Bob was very helpful in providing coverage with the kids with dinner, and I thought this is, you know, what was past is, and but it was exhausting. I mean, you know, if you go to the hospital, it's, and he got out, and some things happened while he was there that just were very upsetting.
He came to live with you, or
He didn't come to live
No.
with us, but I visited him every day
Yeah, I
in the
see.
hospital, and then I helped. He actually went into well, not a nursing home per se, but you know, for rehabilitative, and then
To dry out, basically.
well, no, it was with his liver and everything. And, but I heard things that I guess I had not heard before, but it wasn't I was dwelling on them, but then Elizabeth had got quite sick. And after that, that's when it happened.
Yeah, just, is the infection over with Elizabeth? Is that something that's...
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
ancient history in a
Yeah.
12-year-old's mind at this point. Yeah, that's.
But all these things came together at once, and then you, Marlene, had a period when you,
It just
Just sort of
just like
snowballed.
a hammer.
yeah.
It was like, while all this was going on, you were fine.
Yeah.
And then when everything was over and everybody was healthy, it's like all of a sudden you crashed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
It happens a lot, actually. Yeah, and
You're all right through a period of extreme stress, and then
yeah,
when it's over, you crash? Is it like that?
that often happens. And I thought I might tell you a little bit about what a lot of people's experience with depression is, and something about what we know about kids. But let me do that sort of, we'll see how it does or doesn't make sense in your own experience. But I've also talked with your doctor and thought about this. And one of the things that I want to emphasize is that we believe depression is a biological illness with an underlying biological rearrangement of the way the body functions. That's part of the analogy that I was using with a heart attack. And yet we believe people's experience of it is often very different. And their experience of it is either that there's no cause, or it comes out of the blue. And it's often overwhelming and inexplicable, or doesn't make any sense. Now, I think it tends over time to get somewhat better, and it tends to get a lot better with treatment. That's why I was asking you about that. And I think there are a number of studies that have shown the biological underpinnings, the way sleep gets disturbed, the way certain hormones change, the way even neurotransmitters, or the way certain kinds of energizing nerves are slowed down or deactivated. That sounds very technical, but I think the point is that it really is an illness, a biological illness, and also one that the symptoms of which are interpersonal or interfere with the way one relates to others and the way one feels about oneself. So that part of the depression is feeling very down about oneself, is feeling hopeless, helpless, and like it's very difficult to take any action.
It becomes a cat chasing its tail,
Yeah.
because, you know, I keep feeling I can't. I don't know what to do. I can't seem to do anything. I keep wanting to be better. I keep wanting to be the way I was, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
And that gets tied in with being a mother, too, because I know I haven't been a good mother since this happened, and if I'm not a good mother, then, I mean, that's what's most important, and to me.
Right.
And then, too, whether you were saying with the biological, then that brings up again with the children, is this something that they're going to
Right.
experience? Can you catch it?
Right.
I mean, can we catch it to stop it? That's what I'm trying to say.
And let me try to speak to that. And I also, Bob, want to hear your questions. But I think that the experiences you have of feeling the cat chasing its tail or whatever is very much what people feel and what people go through. But it's important to remember that those are not your fault, that you're not to blame for them, that you can't control them by force of will, as we said last time. And that what we know about the causes of depression, if you will, it's often either a situation where many other people in the family have been depressed, and we have the idea that there may be some genetic predisposition, or more commonly, people who have experienced losses tend to get depressed, have had a lot of losses. Mentioned your mother dying. I don't know what other losses, but those are the two kinds of experiences that tend to lead to depression. Now, I think that the point about kids, if you will, if you step back from your own children for a moment, which we'll talk about, but kids in general, is that we have studied a lot about children who grow up with families where the parents have been depressed. And I think the positive news is that there are a lot of these kids who grow up and do fine, who never become depressed, and who have a kind of resiliency, and I'll tell you a little bit about what those characteristics are. But we also think that there are many things that can be done to help children. And I think one of the things that a parent can do is parents together have enough understanding to be able to say to the child, it's okay to leave. It's okay to move on.
I would encourage them, till I'm blue in the face, go out,
Right.
do something. It's okay to go out tonight.
But and I'm sure that's very helpful, but they may not be able to go until they understand more of what you've gone through as a family, and until on some level they understand that you'll be all right even if they do go.
Well, sometimes I wonder if they don't think, how much worse would it be if I weren't here to take care of her or take care of the house, something like that, so I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
Without understanding that it's not going to be any better or worse, it's just going to be more of the same, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Go out and have a little bit of a life.
Yeah. And I think those are important points. Now, do you wonder about, what caused it, or how it came to be, or?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I guess it was because, she had a bad childhood or something like that. But, I don't really understand how exactly. But
Yeah. Are there times when there are other things you don't understand, when you feel confused by how she is, or worried about her, or just...
What do you mean?
Well, just that, I've worked with lots of kids whose parents have been through tough times, also parents who've been through good times, and sometimes kids either get confused and think they've caused somebody to have a hard time, to get depressed, to get irritable, to suddenly leave a room. And sometimes they just really get very puzzled about why it happened and wonder about it and all. I just wonder whether some of that has gone on for you.
Well, I mean, I know it's not me, because,
Right.
I don't know what I did. Like, if I did anything, she should tell me or something. But, no, I know it's not me. But, like, whatever it is, that's... I don't think it was like one thing. I don't know what it was, and it's not... See, I look at it as like, it's kind of not really my business, because it's like, I don't really want to... It's not like I want to know. Like,
Right.
I think it's her deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like...
Is it something that you all have talked about as a family, or mostly just you and your dad have been?
Me, my dad, my sister, and then Mom will sometimes, like, put in a few words, but she usually lets Dad talk to us and stuff.
One of the things I'm really interested in is how different people see the same experience, and I wonder what you think this has been like for your sister.
She's like, she's kind of young, she's like...
Yeah. She's 11 or 12? Or
She's 12.
She's 12. Yeah.
She's like, she thinks that, I don't know, she thinks that it's like, I think she thinks that it was like her, or like something we did. Like, and in order for her mom to get, not depressed, we have to, like, completely, do everything for her.
Oh. Has she changed a lot, your sister? Does she try to do everything for your mom?
Yeah, and we used to think, like me and Dad would go like, oh, well, it's just because she's getting older and, she's not a kid anymore, she has responsibilities, and girls mature faster than boys and stuff like that, because when I was 12, I was not doing chores willingly, you know what I mean? So we thought it was that, but then we were like, well, maybe she's got this hang-up. So, she's all like, oh, if we do this and this will, Mom will be happy, and maybe she'll get, better or whatever. And we're just like, she has to kind of wake up. And we keep trying to, like, bring her back, but she's just totally...
And what kinds of things does she do to sort of take care of things?
She'll, like, come home from school, and she'll, like, clean the kitchen, like, totally. Like, wash the floor, everything. She'll, like, do dishes after dinner. She'll, like, you know, she won't watch TV. Like when we're watching TV, she'll be like sweeping or something. She'll like try to do everything, and it's like, calm down, because it's like, you know, you're not even making things better. You're kind of like, feeding the fire almost, because everybody's like, just chill out, be a kid, you know, be 12, don't be, you know, 40 or whatever she's trying to do.
But what's it like for you when she doesn't take her pills?
Again, I feel like really frustrated, and I almost feel like I want to give up, but that kind of makes me want to try even harder, because I feel like, you know, if the doctor gave this to her, then he probably knows like what's really going on, and that he wouldn't just give her this medicine for no reason, that it must help something. So, you know, when she doesn't take it, I feel like she's giving up too, and like everyone around me is totally giving up on her and all of us, and you know, I just want to try harder and to try to keep everyone together.
So you feel you have to do things to keep everyone together, that you're sort of the one who does that.
I don't know if I feel like I have to, but a lot of the times I want to, because for me it's important for me that everyone's together, and that everyone's happy, and they're all we're just, you know, we're just together again. Everyone's happy with each other. There are no fights, there's no yelling, there's no, you know, finally a time where everyone's home at once without bickering. And so I don't really feel like I have to, but I want to.
And do you feel like you're able to bring people together, or sometimes that even despite all that you do, that people don't come together, or that more needs to be done?
Sometimes people don't, and sometimes they do. I mean, sometimes people do see my point that, you know, we should keep trying, but on others, sometimes nobody wants to, you know, get up and do anything.
Right. And what's that like for you when they don't want to get up and do anything?
I almost feel hurt for me, for my mother and I, you know, because I don't want my mother to have to, you know, be in any more pain that she already is. And, you know, I just get so frustrated when they don't help her, they don't stick with her, because, I mean, I really do think that if people are, you know, help her and they care about her and she feels loved, then, you know, she'll just be a regular mom again.
Right. She'll be a regular mom again. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you've told me a lot about all this. Are there other things you want to tell me about it? About the times with your mom and all? What it's like for you?